Hello, my name is Mr. Viola, and we are going to go over and record a video for the entire Unit 1, Lesson 1. And when we do start these video lessons, they'll be on our Google Classroom, so you can basically just follow along as if you were in school in person and work through the whole lesson. You could rewind, you could fast forward, you could do anything that you want. You could put it on pause. What I suggest to do when you hear me say press pause now, you press pause and you do the problem, and then you can go ahead and press play when you're finished and then just check the answer. Alright, so let's get started. So Unit 1, Lesson 1, learning target is I can simplify and evaluate expressions by using order of operations. So we are going to use a calculator, and you need this calculator just right now. So when I do bring this up, make sure that you do have the TI-84 calculator ready and right by your side, because this will be everything for you. Every single thing that you do in the 9th grade in this integrated algebra class will be done on the calculator. A couple of times, like to do now, right now, we're going to simplify without using the calculator, just because it says what is the first step in simplifying the expression. So that you would have to know what the first step is. So learning target, I already read that. The homework, don't worry about the homework right now. We are going to take care of that usually in person. So the do now is, what is the first step in simplifying the expression 2 minus 3 times 4 plus 5 in parentheses to the squared? So think about what your first step would be, and then pick your answer. Choose your answer. Go ahead, press pause now. So anytime that you are using order of operations, you always do what is in parentheses first. So PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So when there is something in parentheses, that's where you go first. So this is where we're going, and in parentheses you're going to do that multiplication first. So you're not going to pick square 5, that's out, and then you're not adding 4 and 5 first inside that parentheses, and you're not subtracting the 3 from the 2, but you will multiply the 3 by 4 first. So in this page right here, we're just going to go over a little bit of vocabulary for you. A variable is a symbol, usually a letter, that represents an unknown quantity. So like in any kind of equation, you're going to have some sort of variable like x plus 2 equals 10. So right here we have x plus 2 equals 10, and that x is the variable. An algebraic expression is a mathematical phrase that includes one or more variables. So like an algebraic expression could be something like 2x, 4xy, just an expression. An expression does not have that equal sign. A numerical expression is a mathematical phrase involving numbers and operation symbols, but no variables. And we could just see exactly right here what a numerical expression is. It's a mathematical phrase involving numbers and operation symbols, but no variables. Something like 6 plus 2, 4 times 2, stuff like that. All right, so here's some practice. So you have to basically translate what is an algebraic expression for each word phrase. I'll do the first one with you, and then you guys could take the next one or two and press pause and try it, and then come back and press play to check your answers. So number one says 3 more. So I'm going to underline 3, right? And then more. More usually stands for the operation of addition. Twice a number. 3 more than twice a number, x. Twice a number is 2 times x. So 2 times x. And you could either put this, since addition is commutative, you could either put it 2x plus 3 or 3 plus 2x. Either way is fine, and that is your answer. Let's do number 2, just so we get you rolling. It says 9 less, right? So 9 less is always subtraction, right? So 9 less than something is minus 9. So I'm going to put minus 9 right up here. The quotient. Quotient is division. So I'm going to put the division sign here. Quotient of 6 and a number x. The quotient of 6 divided by x. The quotient. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put 6 divided by x. When in this class and in high school, every time that you have division, you're usually going to write it as a fraction. So 6 divided by x, the quotient of 6 and x would be something like this: 6 over x. 9 less than that is this, minus 9. All right, go ahead, try number 3 on your own. Press pause now. A little bit tricky. So the product means, like you're talking about these key words, product means multiplication. Product of 4 and the sum means addition of a number x, which is x and 7. So x plus 7. So you're talking about the product, you mean multiplication, you're multiplying 4 and the sum, the whole sum of a number and 7. So it will be written like this: 4 times x plus 7, and that is basically it. Go ahead and try the rest of them and we'll come back and review. Press pause now. All right, coming back with number 4, 8 less. There we go, 8 less again. I'm just going to put minus 8. 8 less. Then the product, talking about multiplication. Usually you don't put like that, as the product is just multiplication, so you have to just remember that. You usually don't put an x for it because it looks like a variable, so you don't want to get a little confused with that. See, the product of a number x and 4. And when you write the product of a number x and 4, you're just basically going to put 4x. So 8 less than the product of 4x. 8 less. So it's not 8 minus, it's 8 less than 4x, so the 4x comes first. And then you're talking about minus 8. 8 less than the product of 4 and x. For number 5, hopefully you did get a chance to do this. If not, you can pause and then press play again to give you a chance to do it, and you can try it out, see if you can get that correct. I'm going to go over it right now. So here we go. Twice the sum of a number x and 8. Twice the sum. So that means 2 times the sum. The whole sum. Not just 2 times x, 2 times the whole sum. So you're going to talk about putting in parentheses x plus 8. So that's the way it would look. It's twice that whole sum. If it said twice a number, x, then it would be 2x added to 8. So if it says twice that whole sum, just make sure you put in the sum in parentheses. So for the last one and confusing one, the quotient of 5 and the sum of 12 and a number. The sum of 12 and a number is always 12 plus 8. 12 plus x, right? Or x plus 12. It does not matter. Addition, just like multiplication, is commutative. The quotient means division. So we're talking about division. So we're talking about 5, and we're going to write this as a fraction as we do all division, and just put x plus 12. And that's it. All right. So everybody just give yourself a chance to just look at the answers. Make sure you understand them. It's called translation. Go ahead and try the fast finisher. Do the phrase 6 less than a number y and 6 less than a number y mean the same thing, and explain. So very, very tricky wordplay here. So take a look at what this is asking. Do the phrases 6 less a number y and 6 less than a number y mean the same thing? And just explain it. So the way I would do this is to actually just try to translate each one into what you think they mean. So 6 less a number y and 6 less than a number y. Wait, I know this one in red. 6 less than a number y is y minus 6. 6 less than a number y. 6 less a number y, that means 6 comes first and y is minused from it. All right, so it does not mean the same thing. So I put it down there for you, typed it. These two phrases do not mean the same thing because 6 less a number y means that y is being subtracted from the 6. And 6 less than a number y means that the 6 is being subtracted from the y. So they're different. Remember, subtraction is not commutative. So you can't just switch it around. All right? And that's it. On to the next page. Okay, so this is just a page to show you exactly what order of operations is, and it's a set of rules that you must follow when solving any multi-step problem. It's important even with the calculator. Most of the stuff you're going to be doing with the calculator, but you do have to know and understand order of operations. So, parentheses, respect order. Remember, this is all PEMDAS. All right, and that's the saying that that word that we put together to remember the order. Parentheses first, respect the order of operations inside the parentheses or absolute value bars. So you do whatever's inside the parentheses first. So in this case, you would take 3 plus 5, 8, and then 5 times 8, and you'd make that 40. So the answer would be 40 following those order of operations. Right? Exponents are next, and basically PEMDAS really leads you through. This is parentheses, exponents are next, and this is number 2, exponents. So whatever you do, you're if you see an exponent, that comes after the parentheses, doesn't come before. So 4 squared is 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. That's basically it for that. Multiplication and division. Everybody forgets about this. You'll see these on like social media asking, hey, what's the answer to this question? They almost always have number 3 and number 4 mixed up, people. So we have multiplication and division, but when it's in the same statement, when it's in that same problem, you always go from left to right, no matter what comes first. So you notice that it says multiplication and division. Multiplication does come before division, but not when it's in that same statement. So we have 6 divided by 2 times 3. So you work from left to right, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then 3 times 3 would be 9. And the same thing goes for addition and subtraction. It always goes from left to right. You notice that I have subtraction first, but it doesn't matter. You don't do 4 plus 5. You do 9 minus 4. So 9 minus 4 is 5, and then 5 plus 5 would be, working from left to right, would be 10. And that covers the order of operation. So, 2 ways to remember, abbreviate using the word PEMDAS. And please, it's the phrase, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. P stands for parentheses, E, exponents, M is multiplication, D is division, and Aunt is addition, and AS standing for subtraction. All right, so PEMDAS, if you remember that, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, you know that parentheses comes first, exponents second, M, multiplication, D, division, A, addition, and S, subtraction. So like I said on the prior slide, a common mistake, and then basically saying, wait a minute, perform multiplication before division or addition before subtraction, regardless of left to right order. That's a common mistake that people do all of the time. You must perform, in this example right here, you must perform the division first, because when division and multiplication are together, and when addition and subtraction are together, you always go from left to right. So we're talking about 9 divided by 3, and you get 3, and then 3 times 8, and that's where the 24 is coming from. Someone that does not know order of operations will look, it's PEMDAS, right? So it's PEM, supposed to be doing multiplication first? No, not in this case. A lot of people will do this incorrectly. All right, they'll do 3 times 8 first. Don't do that. Left to right, multiplication and division together, doesn't matter what comes first. Work from left to right. So here is some independent practice, all right? So I would like you to do some of this. Obviously, like, look, it's very important for you to know what comes first in order of operations, all right? Even with these questions, like the do now question asked you, hey, what is the first step you would take here? They could ask you a question like that on a region. Will they? We don't know. But the bottom line is you have to know how to do some of it on your own. And also, it's very important to know how to use the calculator. All right, so we're going to do a little mix of both. Try to do numbers 1 through 6 by hand. And when I say by hand, do not use a calculator. Do not use a calculator for 1 through 6. Okay? So right now we're going to press pause, and you're going to give yourself time to do 1 through 6. Get the answers, and then I'll have the answers and I'll go through them with you quickly, but we'll check your answers and see if you got them correct. You could press pause now. Okay, hopefully you're finished between with 1 through 6, and here we go. So let's just quickly go through it. I performed 2 times 4 first, and I got 8, and 3 plus 8 is 11 for the first one. Number 2, if it's addition and subtraction in that same problem, right in a row with nothing else, no other operation, you go from left to right. So I did 7 plus 5, which is 12. 12 minus 8 is 4. So 4 is the answer for number 2. Exponents, 4 squared, 16. 3 squared, 9. Then 16 plus 9, 25. Number 4, 5 times the sum of 6 plus 2. So I did in parentheses first, added those. 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 times 5 is 40. And I'm going to move down to number 5. Number 5, multiplication and division in the same problem, and there's no other operation to do. So we have 2 times 15, which is 30, and then 30 divided by 3, which is 10. All right, and then number 6, which is the most difficult one by hand. Take a look. In parentheses first, I did 5 plus 2, which is 7. Then I did 2 squared because that's the exponent, right? So we have 2 squared, which is 4. And then 4 times 7, I did that because it's multiplication. Multiplication is 28. 4 times 7 is 28. And then I brought down everything. 7 plus 28 equals 35. Whenever you get confused, just bring things down. Don't keep things in a line. Keep things neatly as possible. That you are, that you're working, just neat and just in place, like right underneath the number that the operation that you just did. So let's just do number 7 and number 8 together. So we have 9 minus 3 plus 6. Remember, addition and subtraction. We're talking about addition and subtraction all together in one problem. No other operation, so I'm going to go from left to right. So 9 minus 3 is 6, and 6 plus 6 is 12. And that's about it. So number 8, take a look. Again, you see how many times this happens. It happens all of the time. So we're talking about 32. You're talking about division and multiplication in the same problem. So we're going to go from left to right again, no matter what. No matter what the order of operations says. So we're going to go 32 divided by 4. So that's 8. And then just bring down, don't take another step. 8 times 3, 24. All right. Take a look at number 9, 10, 11, and 12. Do them by hand, and then we'll come back and we'll go over the answers. Press pause now. Alrighty, so we did number 7 and 8 already, so we're just going to go over number 9. Number 9 has division and subtraction, so we are going to do that division, perform that division first. So we have 30 divided by 6. 30 divided by 6 is 5, and then bring down that 12, bring down the minus sign. 12 minus 5 is 7, so hopefully you did get that. Number 10, all multiplication, yes, from left to right. So 5 times 2 times 8, which is 5 times 2, which is 10. Then I brought down the 8, and 10 times 8 is 80. Number 11, 20 divided by 5. 20 divided by 5 is 4. You do that first. Then you bring down the 9. 9 plus 4 is 13. Number 12, Number 12 in parentheses first. That's what I'm looking at. So 5 plus 4, which is 9, and then times 2, which is 18. So that takes care of those. Take a look at number 13, 14, and 15. Do those by hand and press pause now. So here we go, number 13, in parentheses, pretty easy, 6 times 2, 12, then 3 plus 12 is 15. In parentheses, 7 plus 2, 7 plus 2 is 9, and then you do the squared, right? 9 squared, 81. For this one, number 15, I did 9 minus 6 first, so that's 3. And you see this 3 squared? That's for this whole parentheses, right? So the squared is for the parentheses, not for the 4. So 3 squared is 9. Then I brought down the 4. 4 times 9 is 36. So for number 16, we could use the calculator, right? So, but let's see if we can do this by hand. Pretty easy, okay? It's not that bad. It looks worse than it is. But numerator is the top part of the fraction, denominator is the bottom. So we're going to just take 5 minus 2 first and figure out that that's 3, right? We're going to bring this plus down, and then 2 squared is 4. So we did parentheses, exponents, and I'm just going to bring this 3 plus. So all I have on the top part, my numerator, is 3 plus 4 plus 3. So 3 plus 4 is 7, and plus 3 is 10. So the top part of this is now 10, which is the numerator. So it's a 10. Sorry, I'm squeezing that in there. 25 times 2, which is 50. That's pretty easy. So, you know that trick where you kind of like cross out the zeros? Well, you can cross out the 0 on one in the numerator, one in the denominator, and this reduces to 1 over 5. It's not that bad. It wasn't that bad. It says it's pretty easy, actually. Go ahead and try to do number 17 by hand. Press pause now. So number 17, in the numerator, you have 6 plus 2 times 7. And since we're not doing this using the since we're not figuring this out using the calculator, we are going to do this by hand using order of operations. And the first thing that you do is look at that numerator and you do 2 times 7. Multiplication comes first. I'm going to put a 14 right there. And then I'm going to bring down that 6. So it's 6 plus 14 in the numerator, and that is 20. In the denominator, we have an exponent. So that's the first thing that we are going to take care of. We have 5 squared, which is 25. And then I'm going to bring down the minus 8 and the plus 3. Since we have addition and subtraction in that same problem, and there's no other operation that's there, we go from left to right. So 25 minus 8 is first. So 25 minus 8, I'm going to put 17 down for that, and then plus 3. So the denominator comes out to 20 as well. So 20 divided by 20, and the answer is 1. Sorry, it gets a little crowded over there, but 20 divided by 20 is 1, so the answer for 17 is 1. Going down to 18, we have 5 times square root of 25 plus 7 minus 3. Very confusing to look at, but let's see what we could do first. I'm going to take care of this square root of 25 because it's actually bothering me. So I want it to just like a regular number. And 25 is a perfect square. So square root of 25, what times what equals 25? By hand, 5 is the answer to the square root of 25. So I'm going to put the 5 directly under it, and I'm going to just bring down all of the other numbers plus 7 and then the minus 3. Since we have multiplication here, I'm going to do that first, following order of operations. We have 5 times 5, which is 25, plus 7 minus 3. All right, so again, we have addition. See how many times that we have addition and subtraction? So 25 plus 7. It's okay to count on your fingers. You have 32 minus 3. And then you just take care of that as 29. All right, and that finishes that. So on the bottom, the challenge for the fast finishers, it says to use the grouping symbols to make each equation true. So see if you can kind of put all of those in, those grouping symbols. And up here you have parentheses, brackets, and braces that you could put in to see if you can make this equal to 6. And we'll go over a couple of these at least. Press pause now. Okay, go to this problem. This is on the next page. And this is the hint: when dealing with fractions, perform order of operations on the numerator first and then the denominator simultaneously until you have one value on the top and one value on the bottom. Then simplify if possible, and here's the example. So go ahead, see if you can do this. Treat that numerator as its own problem. Just finish that numerator and then go down to the denominator and finish that, get in a number, and then at the end you'll have a fraction. Maybe you could reduce it, simplify, and stuff like that. So go ahead, give it a try, press pause now. So just taking a look at the numerator, these bars here, this is absolute value. And remember, absolute value is the amount of numbers away from 0 a number is on that number line, on a number line. So if you have -2 times 3 and it's absolute value of -6, how many spaces is -6 away from 0 on a number line? And obviously 6. So the top, that numerator, would be 4 plus 6. So the numerator is 10. The denominator looks a little bit confusing, but we're going to work through it. So I see parentheses right now, and I see addition and subtraction inside those parentheses. So I'm going to go work from left to right. 2 plus 10 is 12, and 12 minus 4 is 8. So I'm going to just write down right here 5 squared. I know what 5 squared is. 5 times 5, which is 25. I'm going to bring down that subtraction sign, and I'm going to just take square root of 9. What times what equals 9? It's 3. I'm going to bring down that plus sign, and I'm going to put 3. So now, since you have subtraction and addition in that same problem and no other operation, you go from left to right. So we're going to start here, and we're going to go 25 minus 12. 25 minus 12 is 13. And I'm going to bring down minus 4 and plus 3. And I still have addition and subtraction in that same problem and no other operation. So I'm going to work again from left to right. So 13 minus 4, which is 9. And then finally I have 9 plus 3, which is 12. So I'm going to put 10 over 12. And I am going to reduce this fraction because I can. 2 goes into both of these, so we're going to talk about 2 going into 10 5 times, and 2 going into 12 6 times. And that is your final answer. And hopefully you got that. Okay, here's an exit slip, and we are going to press pause right here. Just make sure you're going to give yourself a chance to do this. It says, what is the value of 2a in parentheses squared plus times b minus 2c squared when a equals 2, b equals 4, and c equals 3? Go ahead, give this a try, substitute those values in, and then use order of operations to figure out the answer. Press pause and do the problem now. So hopefully you do have an answer now, and what I just wanted to show you right here, you see how it says 2a? This is multiplication, you should know that. Alright, so it's 2 times 2. I replaced this a with this 2 because it says a equals 2. I'm putting it right there. And now see how this b is just hanging out here? This squared has nothing to do with the b. It's times b. So I put a little dot here when I wrote it down, rewrote it for myself, times b, and b is 4. So I put the b in, I substituted that 4 in for b. Then I put the minus sign, 2 times c squared. C is 3, and 3 squared would be what I have there. Now I have to use inverse, now I have to use order of operations. So we have 2 times 2, which is 4. So I'm going to start cleaning things up a little bit and using order of operations to get my answer, my final answer. So I'm going to bring everything else down. And then when I feel comfortable, all right, so 3 squared, I know what that is. That is 9. So I'm going to just bring that down right now. So when I look at this, the next thing I want to do is just take care of the exponent. Try to get that out of the way. So I have 4 squared, which is 16. And I'm going to bring the times 4 down. And the minus 2. And the times 9. So like I said before, whenever I get confused, I just start bringing things down. I take one step and then just refocus and everything, like just writing everything down of what I need to do. So I'm just going to do 16 times 4 first because I know that is multiplication and I have to do it. So 16 times 4 is 64. And because I don't want to do anything else right now, I'm just going to bring everything down. It's just like copying. So now I have subtraction and multiplication in that same problem. So I have to do multiplication first because it's not multiplication and division. Remember, it's not left to right. It's not addition and subtraction. It's subtraction and multiplication. So I'm going to put 18 here. I'm going to put the minus sign down, and I'm going to do 64. So I have 64 minus 18. And 64 minus 18 is 46. And D should be your answer. All right? So the next page you will see a summary. And what we want you to do is to just kind of fill out what you're supposed to have 2 minutes to fill out a summary, like 3 key skills strategies that you need in order to simplify and evaluate an expression. And that's what we did here in this lesson. So look back and then just write down 3 things that you feel, this is for you, is most important. Like if you were explaining it to someone, what we did today in class, or what this lesson is about, what skills and strategies. It could be a strategy that you use and then I didn't even mention. All right, so go ahead and just write those down, and this ends the first lesson. All right, see you next time.